patient who we will do their observations, their medications, what else, their like wash and any other care they might need. But yeah, everyone was really nice and super helpful and also really welcoming. I found that this placement has just been so much more organised than previous placements. I think COVID probably had an impact on our previous placements where everyone was focused on things that weren't their placement students, which I completely understand. So yeah, super welcoming, super interesting, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of my placement. The goal is to have 3 or 4 patient, like a 3 or 4 patient load by the end of the 3 weeks, and feel confident in doing medications, maybe do some subcutaneous injections. But yeah, I had a really good day and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I've got a morning shift again tomorrow and then an afternoon, so it'll be interesting to see the difference between the two. But I just got home. I'm gonna go and see Hugh and my dogs, and yeah, I'm going to work as well now. I couldn't quite get leave for the whole 3 weeks, so I'm still working a couple of days a week, which it's probably just a challenge mentally. Physically it's fine because I'm sat at home working in front of a computer. It's just like doing 8 hours and then going straight back into a new shift. I actually start in 12 minutes, so I should set myself up and get ready for that. But yeah, overall really good day, and yeah, really looking forward to the rest of the week. And then yeah, anyways, see ya. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, hi. So I've just finished my first day placement. I clearly look a bit worse for wear. I'm so greasy and oily and sweaty from spending the whole day wearing a mask and goggles, and yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was very similar to aged care in the sense of the types of people there, but the care is different. As a nurse in the palliative wing, you get to focus more on their medications and their comfort, rather than, you know, they're not just all incontinent, if that makes sense. I feel like that's probably the difference with aged care, is that these people would look after themselves if they could, whereas aged care, they've got to the point where they can't look after themselves. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I worked a lot on getting more of an understanding on medications and how they get administered. A lot of the patients, they have like a syringe driver, so rather than constantly giving injections, they have like a syringe driver. Hello, it is day 3 of placement. Bit of an update from yesterday. I was so tired after my day. I could not bear making a little vlog. Essentially yesterday was just pretty emotionally draining. It was day 2 and day 2 of someone dying on my shift. So both of my shifts so far, I've had a death on my shift, which for me, it doesn't bother me too much unless I have like an emotional connection with them, which I didn't know either of the patients, so I felt pretty okay with the situation. I know a few of the girls have never experienced death like that, so they're a bit shaken up, but I mean, look, it's part of life, and I think as a nurse you need to become a little bit accustomed to that kind of situation. Otherwise, I had a really good day. I spent an hour with a patient who was diagnosed with terminal cancer in the lungs that had spread to her liver and her bones. She was given about 6 weeks to live, and essentially one of our assignments through uni was to have a conversation with a resident. I keep saying resident because I'm so used to working in aged care, but have a conversation with a patient about the effects on your life with a chronic condition. So for example, like emotionally, psychologically, financially, and well, physically as well. And it was a really good conversation. We sat together for almost an hour, and then her husband came and we chatted with him, and overall it was a really meaningful day, I think. I got to watch the drug rounds in the morning, which hopefully this afternoon, I'm doing a 1 till 9 today, so a afternoon shift, which I haven't done before, so it'll be good to see the afternoon rituals rather than the morning. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some medications done. I did a few the other day, just orals. I'm still yet to inject my first human being. I keep telling the nurses that, and they're so funny about it. They just think it's so normal. But for us who haven't done anything like that before, it's super interesting. So I'm excited about that. Victoria has just, or Melbourne, I think, has just gone into another 7-day lockdown. Oh no, it must be Victoria. But yeah, we've just gone into another 7-day lockdown, which means we've still got to have masks, and we're wearing goggles as well whilst we're working. No real changes for me, work and placement wise, but yeah, a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. At placement, because it's a palliative ward, you're allowed to have like guests. You have to get an exemption, but you are allowed guests. It's one of the only facilities you can, just because of the circumstances of it being palliative. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Looking forward to today. I will I finish at 9:30, so I'll see if I can get a little update afterwards. Goals for today are to do some oral medications on my own, and maybe if a syringe driver, well, syringe driver is basically a syringe, and it has like a mechanism on it that slowly injects the patient with a specific drug, and it goes through a little needle that's in their arm, sort of like a cannula, but not as intense. It's just like a little butterfly tube that goes into their vein. But maybe I'll get to mix one of those up today. But yeah, I'm excited. We'll see how I go today, but I will give you a bit of an update later as to how I go. I had one patient yesterday, and hopefully I'll have another one today. It's a bit different on an afternoon because you don't do like a wash, and you don't do the morning medications, obviously. So yeah, a few of the other girls have said that the afternoons are much more slow, which doesn't bother me. I mean, I do prefer it when it's fast paced, but hopefully I can get some assignments done during the downtime. I've made myself a ham and cheese toastie for lunch, no, for dinner. But yeah, anyway, I will update you a bit later. All right, bye. Day 4 is done. I'm just driving home. Today was really fun. I got to see a few things that I hadn't seen before. The day started with a indwelling catheter for a male. Essentially, it's a tube that goes into the urethra, and it empties the bladder, essentially. The resident, I keep saying resident, patient. The patient was pretty sleepy when it was done, so it would cause no pain or discomfort. But it was really cool to see something you see at uni done in real life. Then I did a couple of wound dressings. A gentleman had wounds on his toes from a previous hospital admission. That's not why he was in hospital, but it needed a dressing. So I got to do that. I used like a squishy dressing on first, and then a tape on top. So I got that signed off on my placement book. We get books from uni that have a ton of different assignments in them. My assignments for placement are oral medications, subcutaneous injections. I have to do a discussion with a patient about their chronic illness. What else? 3 different wounds. One has to be like a complex wound that has a few different steps. I'm slowly but surely ticking them off. Another super exciting thing today was I did my first proper handover where you basically run through a patient's, admission, their problems and their diagnoses and how their day has been. And I did it really confidently and I felt really good about it afterwards. The place I'm working at has a handover where it's based on the systems in the body. So first would be your cardiovascular system, then your respiratory system, skin, mobility, everything. And it's just like a summary on a patient. And I did that to my assessor, and yeah, she was really happy with it and I felt really confident afterwards. I think the biggest thing I need to improve on is my nursing terminology. For example, when someone gets up and say they walk from the bedroom to the shower and then back, and then they're tired from doing that, so they're breathing a lot, like that, I was trying to explain that, but basically you say that they were short on breath after exacerbation. I think that's what it is. But basically there's specific words in nursing that you use for specific situations, rather than like being super wordy like I was. But I'm getting there. I'm learning all the terminology, and I had my own resident today, my own patient. I still haven't got out of the habit of saying resident, but I had my own patient today, and I got to ask the doctors. She was having loose stool, and I chatted to the doctors about what we can do. We administered a PRN, which is essentially a drug or medication that you give on, I can't remember what it stands for, but you give it to them if they need it. So it's not like a daily dose, it's just if they need it. So this patient was given gastrostop to bulk up their stool. I'm starting to get the hang of it, I think. Over the weekend I have to start increasing my patient load, so I'm hoping tomorrow I'll have 2 patients. I really enjoyed today. I think the highlight of today was my ability to give a handover. I was really proud of that, and that felt really good afterwards. But funny moment for the day was we were talking, me and one of the other girls, the student, we were talking about suppositories, which is essentially a medication that goes in the rectum to open the patient's bowels, and we could not remember the name. This is probably getting into too much detail for the average person, but nursing students think this is really cool. But we were trying to think of the name of a suppository, but for a vagina, and it's called a pessary, if I remember from pessary? I don't know, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I just went up to a nurse and said, hey, what's the thing you put in someone's vagina to make them, it's sometimes medicated for thrush, probably going to TMI, sorry, but it was just such a normal conversation. I thought if I tell the average person, hey, what is that thing you put in someone's vagina, it would have been a strange conversation. But to me and this nurse, it was great, and I have the best buddy nurse, and I'm really happy. I'll have to think of something to give to her to say thank you at the end of my placement. I think that's probably the most important thing about your placement experience, is to have a good buddy who really cares about you. My buddy's great. She always comes up to me, what do you need me to sign? What do you need me to mark you on? What do you need? I feel really supportive, and that's super important for a student, especially if you're trying to build your confidence. But anyway, I'm rambling, but really good day. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I've got a PM shift tomorrow and an AM shift on Sunday, but I am now home. I am going to go, we were going to go play hockey, but it's pouring with rain, so I think I'm going to go and give my dogs a cuddle, and I've also got an assignment due this afternoon, so that sucks, but I have to finish that off. But I am going to enjoy my Friday night off, because I usually work Friday nights but because I'm on placement I don't have to, so that's a massive perk, although I've still been working. Anyways, that's enough from me, but yeah, goodbye. Okay, so day 5 is done. It is Saturday at 9:40 and I am so ready to hop into my pajamas and hop into bed. I'm so tired. I had a bit of a crappy day. There was myself and another student who I'm good friends with. We both had a bit of a crappy day. There was a specific nurse that just wasn't quite the friendliest human being you've ever met. She just didn't make us feel too welcome, and I think placement is about learning, and we don't know things as well as, you know, your nurse who's been in the field for years and years and years. We don't know the difference between a X kind of catheter or a short-term or long-term catheter, and we don't know the itty-bitty details, and I think that's okay. I don't feel too bad about not knowing everything after studying for just over a year. My buddy was ill today, so I was floating, aka I didn't have a buddy, and found myself kind of doing laps around the ward a little bit, trying to find things to do. I did everyone's OBS, I did everyone's blood sugars, I even got to do my first insulin injection today, so there was a bit of a bright side to today. I got to do my first injection on a human being and it wasn't that scary. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and focus on celebrating the fact that I stabbed my first human with an insulin needle. That was fun, but yeah, it was an interesting day. I think it was a little bit different to days that I've done before, but that's going to happen, and I think I need to focus on the fact that not every day is going to be an amazing day. Some days are going to be tough and some days are going to be really challenging, but the best part of my day was I was feeling not quite right, and I went to there's 2 sides of the wing, and I went to the other side of the wing, and I said to my student friend, and I said, hey, like, I really don't feel right, and she said, I've had the worst day too. And we both bonded over the fact that we'd had a bit of a crap day. And funnily enough, we have this patient who is so lovely, and she just chats and chats and chats and chats, and she could see that we were a little bit upset, and she called us in and she said, hey girls, like, what's wrong? And we told her we'd had a bit of a lame day, and she held my hand and she said, you know what, not every day is going to be amazing, and there's me complaining about not having the best day while she's lying in bed with cancer with a couple of weeks to live. It really put things into perspective, but I'm trying to focus on the fact that everyone has their own hards, and my hard is different to the patient in bed dying from cancer. And as much as we have to put things in perspective, it is important to understand our challenges and you know, accept the fact that, you know, we're going to have things that challenge us, and yeah, it made me feel so much better, and overall I've walked away feeling good. Yeah, the patient really made my day. I just thought about it thinking, there's me complaining about something that someone said and not quite understood me correctly or whatever, and she's lying in bed, you know, completely bedbound, dying of cancer, and she's consoling me. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, that made my day, and I've walked away. This little debrief to myself has made me feel so much better about the whole situation. And look, at the end of the day, we're not all going to glue with everyone that we work with, and that's okay. So yeah, today was overall successful. I injected my first human being. It might have just been insulin, but it was definitely an injection, and it was semi-successful. But yeah, I just got home and I have an AM tomorrow, so I've got a uni quiz to do, and then I will go straight to bed, straight to sleep, and awake at 5:45 in the morning. How exciting. Anyways, chat to you soon. Day 6 is done. Oh, I still have my goggles on. How cool. This is what we have to wear with our mask as well. Fashion. at its best. Today was fun. What did I do? Highlight of my day. Highlight, but also not highlight, was I got to dress and present a deceased patient. This patient passed at 9:30 this morning, and I got to experience how the nurses dress the patient and make them look dignified after they've ceased, so their family can come and visit. That was a really interesting experience for me. It wasn't morbid in the slightest. The nurse was really nice, and she's like, you can step out at any point you feel uncomfortable, but it wasn't like that at all. It was quite the opposite. I felt calm, and he looked calm, and he looked out of pain, which is really nice, because he'd been quite restless through the night. The family was there, and it was a really pleasant experience, and I hope it was just as pleasant for the patient as well. What else did I do? I had 2 patients again today, 2 different ones. I was on the different side of the ward today, and I felt really confident in my notes. I know that I said about a week ago that I wanted to feel confident in doing my progress notes and handing over, and I really felt like I felt confident today. Essentially, at the end of every shift, you have to do progress notes on the patient and explain what's happened on your shift, whether they've opened their bowels, do they need assistance for mobility, are they taking fluids, medications, did they have any pain, that kind of stuff. And I felt really confident in that. Today was a bit of a strange day regarding online stuff. So basically they haven't had the computer systems running for the last couple of days. They've been making IT changes in the background of the hospital, and it is now all fixed, and they were fixing it up. So hopefully tomorrow when I do my PM shift, we'll be back to online charts. We've been doing them on paper, which for me it makes sense because that's what we've been doing at school, but for a lot of the nurses it's a lot different because they're so used to doing it online. What else did I do today? I'm trying to think. I did a couple of feeds, did a couple of washes. I'm trying to think, the highlight of my day. Highlight of my day was definitely presenting the deceased patient. I just thought it was just a really respectful and dignified way to present someone to their family, make them look as calm and as happy as possible, and out of pain. What else did I do? I can't think. All I know is today was a super positive day. Myself and a couple of other students, we snuck out to KFC at lunch and got popcorn chicken, which was better than my 2-minute noodle lunch. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What did I do today? I think all the days become a bit of a blur, and you're so used to, excuse me, clearly I'm tired. You become so used to doing the normal routine, and everything becomes such a habit. But yeah, I had a nice day, and we are on day 7 tomorrow, meaning we are over halfway now, which is great. Also very I don't know how to explain it. I'm feeling very tired, as you can tell. But basically, I feel like we've hit a milestone of, I feel confident about doing OBS. I feel confident doing BGLs. I feel confident doing progress notes and just having a routine, which was one of my goals with this placement. Yeah, day 7 tomorrow. I'm on the PM shift. I'm really tired. I've got 5 days in a row now. PM, AM, I think PM and then AM. I am now, just got home. I'm going to go chuck the dogs in the car and head to the basin. Oh, goodness gracious. Head to our local park, basically. Still doing COVID restrictions, but we're going to take the dogs. We're allowed within 10 kilometers of home now. And yeah, sorry for the boring update. That's all I got. Anyway, bye. Hello, or music. It is end of day 8, I think. Oh, I'm just so, like, I'm just full of this feeling of, like, I found what I was supposed to do. I think for me it was really difficult so for a bit of background, I've tried teaching and I tried business, and I really found, like, I gave myself a really hard time for not enjoying the courses and dropping out. But now I'm like, oh, it was all worth it, because now I found what I really want to do. I was always super jealous of the people who, you know, knew that they were going to be a teacher, or knew they were going to be a physio, and they did that course and they've loved it and that's what they're doing. I do feel a couple years behind. I'm turning 24 and I'm almost graduated, which is, like, it's fine. And everyone tells me, like, it's so fine that you're a couple years behind. I'm not behind. I'm running my own race, and that's fine. But I so wish I'd found nursing earlier. But on the flip side, nursing for me now may not have suited for me when I was 18, you know? So yeah, I'm just full of that feeling of, I'm so happy I found this career. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. I had a really good shift. I had a different mentor today than my usual one. I got to do a subcutaneous injection again. I got to do I did all of the morning not the morning medications, the like 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock medications. I got to do all of those. Another patient died, which was sad. But I got to sit with a nurse, and she showed me all of the signs of when you know someone's deceased. You know, their pupils are fixated, they're really dilated, no pulse obviously, and I got to check the pulse. Yeah, it was a really, really educational day, and my buddy nurse even gave me a take-home pack for practicing it's like a butterfly, called a butterfly needle, and essentially it goes into the skin like a normal needle, and it stays there. You pull out the needle and it has like a little tiny plastic tube to save having to inject the same person so many times. You just like send the drugs through that little plastic tube. Yeah, that was cool, and I am hoping that Hugh will let me stab him. It's my partner, he won't. Maybe I'll stab a lemon or like an apple or something. We'll see. But yeah, I feel really good today. Morning shift tomorrow, which I'm gonna have a real hard time tomorrow, because I'm on an evening today, morning tomorrow, and I'm also working my other job tomorrow evening. So I'll be working a lot in a very little amount of time. It is what it is, and that's the life of a nurse. But I kind of think it has its perks as well, being able to work shifts, because then you're not completely locked into the 9 to 5 all the time. But yeah, the only thing I've got to say again, I'm so like thriving off this feeling of I've chosen the right thing, and I've definitely decided I'm going to go on to do my RN. It's only another 2 years of uni, and then it's done, and then I'll be a registered nurse. There's so many people who say, oh, I wish I'd done my RN, and then there's tons of people who are like, yeah, I'm really happy as an EN. So whatever floats your boat. But I am home, gonna go see my doggies, have a shower, and go to sleep. Hugh's not enjoying my nights and then mornings because he doesn't see me, but that's okay. Anyways, see ya. Well, I look mega disheveled, but I'm off. It is day, I don't even know what day it is anymore, but we have 7 days to go, 7 shifts. I'm lying to myself saying 7 days, but 7 shifts sounds far better. I'm really enjoying it. Again, I say that every day. Yeah, nothing new today. I think today was a bit of a much of a muchness day. It was pretty ordinary, nothing exciting. I got to finally do one of those butterfly needles, which was cool. 2 of the family members were in the room, and I was like, I've got to act confident, otherwise I'm going to look like an absolute goose. I just pretended that I'd done it so many times over, and I felt like it went really well, confident. I have not had a shift so far that someone hasn't passed away, but that's becoming so normal. Like, it's just not even like a thing anymore, which is really sad. But it's also like becoming more of an understanding to me that that's just part of it. Hard thing today was there's a patient that's my age. She's got cancer and she's terminal, and it's heartbreaking because that could be me. Yeah, that's kind of tough. But I'm tapping on my seatbelt on a red light. But yeah, that was hard to like understand. I got to take her BGLs. Her parents are taking care of her, so she doesn't really have too much interaction apart from medications. But I went and tested her blood sugar, so I got to see her and just have a bit of a chat. She's in pretty good spirits, but I think that was probably like kind of hits home. I am tired. I'm going to do a shift at my other job at home this evening, which I'm not looking forward to. I'm pretty tired, but I have a day off tomorrow, which I cannot stress to you enough how much I need it. I'm not going to blabber on for much longer because I don't really have much else to say, but normal day, over halfway now. Yeah, that's me. Nothing exciting today. But yeah, see ya. Hello, today is end of week 2 of my subacute placement. I'm getting there, only 6 more shifts to go, which feels like a lot, but I'm feeling, as much as you love placement and really enjoy the experience, it does take a toll on, like, you know, your social life, your work life, just having to constantly be on. But at the same time, everyone has to do it, so it is whatever. Yeah, really enjoying it. I had to say goodbye to my favorite mentor. Yesterday I got her some chocolates and I made her a little bangle, which was one of my lockdown hobbies. That was really nice, but also really sad. She's doing nights next week, so we won't be buddied up together, so we'll see how I go. But she signed all my paperwork, and yeah, I had a really good time with her, but I'm also sad that she won't be my buddy for the next week. Same old, really. I think it's getting to the point where I'm not learning any brand new skills, rather you know, fixing up like my current skills, like getting better and better. Doing subcut injections is becoming really normal. I've done a fair few butterflies. Yeah, it's becoming really normal, and it's not as exciting anymore, which is sad because I think about how I was like in the first couple of days and how exciting it was to do injections, and now it's like, oh, it's nothing. And now I get why the nurses were like rolling their eyes when we were so excited about it. The only thing I haven't done is a suppository, which I still want to do. Yesterday we got to see a ridiculously big like auxiliary, so under your arm, like in the armpit area, was a big wound, and it was like I don't know, basically because of the sweat and resting in bed and some bacteria, I believe, the skin had broke down, and it was super green, and it didn't have an odor, which was surprising to everyone, but a lot of dead skin that needed pulling away. But yeah, I think that was cool. You might not think so. No, neither did Hugh, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know what else I have to update you on. Got the weekend off, which is nice. Melbourne's gone back into, just got out of their lockdown. We're now allowed to travel 25 kilometers outside of our houses, and I'm still not allowed to visit people, which is frustrating. I haven't seen my family in a couple of weeks, but that's okay. Hockey is back this weekend, so life, will go back to being really busy. But yeah, I'm thankful that the lockdown was during placement time, so I've, had a bit of time to breathe. Next week is my second last week at Grilled, which is my other job, and yeah, I think I'm really excited to see where this takes me. I'm back at aged care in a couple of weeks. Yeah, 1 week to go. We'll see how I go, but I'll keep you updated. Oh my goodness, I've just looked at myself and oh my god, have I looked like this all day? Probably. Anyway, so I haven't made a little film clip, the sun is bright, for a couple of days because they've just been pretty ordinary, nothing exciting happening. But today, boy oh boy, it was the most unorganized shift I have ever worked. Thank you. Yeah, it was just showed what difference it makes when you have nurses who are really passionate and organized to shifts where you have nurses that perhaps aren't that organized, or perhaps they're organized but not out loud. I worked with two nurses today who both experienced nurses, but they really struggle to communicate with how things in their head looked like compared to, or how they were going to execute things in their head, and what the schedule looked like for the day. So I found it really hard to keep up, and it was a real struggle to keep up with what they wanted me to do and how they wanted me to care for the patients and what order they wanted to do things in. So that was a real learning curve. I got a bit upset because I just could not grasp what they wanted me to do and how they wanted me to organize my day, and I had it one way that I've been doing for the last 2.5 weeks. Yeah, it was just a bit disastrous, but it was fine. We had, at the end of the day, we had an hour's debrief on a patient who is very young, and how we deal with grief and how we walk away as nurses with our emotions, and how we should talk about them more often, because otherwise we forget to process how we're feeling. So yeah, I think that's why I wanted to do this little video clip, was because I found the other day when I was feeling super grumpy and super frustrated that it was really good for me to speak it to, no one, to speak it to the red light. But yeah, it's nice to just get it out and be like, okay, that's done, let's move on. Another day, another shift. It is what it is, and life is going to give you people who you don't work the best with. Like my buddy that I had last week, we were so in tune with one another. We would know exactly what we needed to do, and when we were washing a patient, we were like a well-oiled machine. And today, it was a very squeaky machine, and it did not oil itself, and it was a bit of a disaster, but that's okay. My favorite patient left today. She's gone to a nursing facility, which is sad, but also happy, because I'm really happy that she got to move on. Yeah, it was sad to see her go. I did have a bit of a moment when I was like, oh. But I got to help her in the ambulance and say farewell. I wrote her a little card and was like, all the best and everything. She bought us chocolate covered strawberries, and yeah, that was a super nice moment. But yeah, I am super tired. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm really tired. I have 2 more shifts to go and I am so excited for it to be done. Honestly, like, placement is great and you learn so much, but it really interferes with your life. It really, like, takes a lot out of you because it's not your sole job. If I was getting paid to, you know, to work these hours, no problem. But we're doing more hours than all the nurses. Most of the nurses are on 0.8. So we're doing more hours than they are. And we're just pooped. So yeah. I don't know, I'm tired and I'm just blabbering on now, but I'm gonna go home and go to work. I start in 9 minutes and I'm not even home. So yeah, it's exciting to go from an 8-hour shift to another 4-hour shift. Thankfully it's just 4. But yeah, I'll probably have a bit of a snooze. Early night tonight. I've got a PM shift tomorrow, which gives me a bit of time to have a sleep in, but oh my goodness, I am tired. Anyway, that's enough. I will update you on my last day, or maybe tomorrow. Yes, it is day 15, end of day 15. We as in me, has now completed my subacute placement, which is so exciting. We only have 1 placement left and then I'll be a real nurse. Like, that's terrifying. But yeah, I feel really good. I feel confident. I feel like this is what I was supposed to do. Like, nursing is 100% my passion and I'm so excited to, like, move on and, you know, finish my course. I'm tired. Oh, I've got to go do another shift now at my other job. But yeah, I feel really good. I learned so much and I learned that overall nursing is the career for me, I think. And I think that's a super important step for me personally, because I've always struggled with like knowing what I was supposed to do and having a real hole where my passion lies. I'm passionate about a lot of different things, but never really had a career focus. I knew I loved people and I knew I loved, you know, customer service, and I also was super interested in the medical side of things. So nursing is like a amazing fit. Oh god, I'm so tired. Excuse me yawning, but you know, that's the realistic life of a student nurse who is working ridiculous hours and ridiculous placement hours and has hobbies and a partner and 2 doggos who need walking and it's raining. But yeah, I'm really happy that it's over, but I'm also really happy with the experience. Placements can be a bit hit or miss, but yeah, mine was great. And yeah, there was ups and downs. Oh my goodness. I'm keeping this one short because I am honestly so tired. But yeah, placements can be hit or miss, but this one was definitely a hit. I met so many lovely people and we got to make a little survey at the end. We answered a ton of questions and we got to nominate people who inspired us and were super helpful, and just like an overall excellence kind of certificate. I think that's what happens anyway. But yeah, I had a really good experience. I made some really good friends too. We're on a fellowship program, which I think I've mentioned beforehand, but we had to do like an interview and everything to get into this program. And so I'm on placement with all the same people every time, and I made some pretty good friends, and yeah, that's exciting. Back at uni next week for a day, then on holidays, and then back on the 12th of July, and oh my goodness, I need to go have a nap. Can I have a nap in 15 minutes? Probably not, but yeah. Anyways, this is me signing off for my aged care. No. See, I'm tired. This is me signing off for my subacute placement. 1 more placement to go, which is 4 weeks in an acute setting. I will probably do this again for my acute placement. I found it really helpful to just debrief with myself. I think it's super important to reflect on your day and take a minute to just